Hello everyone and welcome to Meeple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are doing a before and after today of Star Wars Destiny.
That is correct.
But for those of you who might not know what a before and after is,
right?
This guy right here is going to give you the lowdown.
I am going to give you the lowdown. So before and after is where we take a look at a game before we have ever played it. We give you our expectations of what we think the gameplay is going to be like. Then we play the game one time, and we come back and give you a first impressions overview of how the game felt.
Right. So, like I said, this is Star Wars Destiny, a game that has been hyped.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things and only one bad thing about it.
The thing for me with this style of game is, even though I looked at the game, read the rules, read through the cards, I don't know what I'm going to feel about it.
Right.
Like, I could really like it. I could hate it. I find
like
it's hard to get a gauge of it without actually playing the game.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So, yeah, I agree with you there. I feel like one thing that might happen, and again, it's hard to tell, I feel like the game could go by very quickly.
Right.
You only have a deck of cards of, like, what, 25? 20 cards.
Right.
You draw 5 into your hand. And then as you're playing cards out, you always redraw back up to 5 at the end of your turn, or at the end of the round.
Yeah.
And then the game ends when someone runs out of cards, or you kill the opponents.
Right.
So with only 15 cards in a deck, and then you're drawing up to your maximum hand size, the game could be over really quickly, possibly. I don't know. It seems that way.
Yeah, it could be. The other thing with, like I said, it's hard to gauge my expectations going into this is because this is a game all about interactions. Between cards, between players, you do something, I'm going to do something in response. So it's hard to get a feel for that without actually playing the game. I'm going in hoping to like the game.
Right.
Maybe a little bit wary that I'm going to like the game too much because it is a collectible game.
Sure.
That if I like it too much, I got to go spend money.
Yeah.
But if I really like it, then I wouldn't mind.
Right. One other expectation that I'm kind of having is that there are a lot of different icons, keywords, things like that. I feel like the first game is going to feel like a little going back and forth between the rules, so it's going to be a little slow, maybe.
Right.
But other than that, I think
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. All
right, well, let's get it to the table, play it, and come back and see what we think of Star Wars Destiny.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone. We just finished playing Star Wars Destiny.
That's right.
And I won.
That's right.
So
it was very close.
It was like literally down to the wire. Like one card that I had in my hand saved me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have won. So very, very tight game. So we just played with the starter sets. I played Rey. You played Kylo.
Yep.
And the first game took us 45 minutes.
Right.
So not as short as you were thinking in the beginning.
No. I thought you were going to, like, the game would end by top decking.
Right.
Versus killing the opponents. I thought that would be a common thing to happen. And maybe it is with once you've built your decks or people are familiar with what's happening and you're playing through, that might be a strategy.
Yeah. And I mean, the starter decks only have 20 cards, whereas the built decks have 30. So you do get a little bit more time before you would run out of cards.
Right.
So yeah, what was your first impression of the game?
I enjoyed the flow of I take one action, you take an action. I enjoyed you can go off that to start.
Yeah, I like that because there's a lot that you can do with the different dice that you could roll. So let's say if you activated a character to roll their dice,
right?
Well, then it's my turn and I get to see what you have available and I can potentially counteract some of that. So it's not like, oh, I have all this big damage and I do stuff before you can even do anything about it.
Right.
That whole that back and forth, being able to act, react, I thought was really well done in this game.
I agree. That was probably my favorite thing in the game.
Yeah.
Was just because you got to see everything that was going to happen and you could react. It wasn't like, oh, I play out all this stuff and I play all these cards, do these things, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
The other thing for me was about mentioning about the interaction. Like we just said, I felt there was a lot of interaction, and I did enjoy that interaction as well. I enjoyed the game. I'm just nervous because I want to buy a booster box now.
Okay.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's the greatest game ever made, but I enjoyed it. But I think to get the full enjoyment, you would need to play it more, build your own deck, so you know what the deck is trying to do, and then get the deck to do that thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think
that's pretty standard for this type of game, right? Same thing with a game such as Netrunner. If you just got the core box and, now there's like so many expansions, you want to get everything so that you can build something customized and you're not playing with a standard starter box, right?
Yeah, so it was, it's an interesting game.
Right. One of the other aspects I really enjoyed was the fact that, and it kind of ties in with what we were just talking about with the seeing what your opponent is doing, is you have to activate a character and you get all the dice that character currently has on them. So it's not like you just roll all your dice all at once. Right. It's like I roll these section of dice and then later on I might wait and get these section of dice and then this one over here as an extra die, something like that. I found that very interesting as well.
Yeah, I also liked the fact that you could discard a card from your hand to re-roll a die. Yeah. Like halfway through the game, I rolled a bunch of crap on my dice. I was like, oh, and I was like, you can discard cards to re-roll dice. Right. That just opened it up so much more to the fact where you're just not stuck with what you roll. Like, sure, it's great to roll what you want the first time you roll the die. Right. But it isn't like there's nothing you can do.
Exactly.
If you roll poorly.
That being said, I feel like the game is very luck heavy. Yeah. In my opinion. I rolled several times where I never got what I wanted. Right. All the cards I had in hand were all situational to either me rolling all melee or range, and I didn't roll any of it, or you rolling all melee or range, and you didn't roll any of it. And I was like, well, that card's dead. I can't use that. Right. So I felt very pigeonholed to what I could do. I didn't have options like I thought I would.
Well, and that's, I think, part of the game. Well, a couple things. Number one is building your deck so that you have the cards that you want to have, so you wouldn't have those dead cards in there. Yeah. The other thing is that, do I hang on to this card hoping that this situation where this is ideal will arise and then I can use it? Or do I can just discard it to re-roll a die?
Or discard it at the end of your turn before you redraw a new hand of cards.
Yeah, so there's a lot of control there, and I had the same situation. I had this card. I was like, man, this would be really good if this situation came up. Mm-hmm. So I hung on to it, hoping that it would come up, and it saved me in the end because I discarded your melee damage that you could have done. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of give-take there with that. Plus with the deck building, you can really customize what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Going with luck again is if you roll a bunch of icons that are all the same. Let's say I roll 4 dice that all have the range icon. I can just spend all of them because they all have matching icons and just do massive damage, right? Yeah. Again, that comes down to, I was lucky enough to get this and bam, now you're hurting.
Yeah, I think it's not like chess where it's just you do what you do and there's nothing anyone else can do about it. Right. There is strategy and I think tactics in this game, but there is luck and luck mitigation. Yes. I'm not sure what some of the cards are like that come in the booster packs and how they can manipulate dice. Mm-hmm. Like there was a couple that you could actually just turn a dice to the face that you want. As well. So it's all about taking that randomness and luck and mitigating it, hopefully in a way that's beneficial to you. But yeah, you can someone else can get the perfect roll, and then that's it.
Sure. So was there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I think that's it. I didn't play it and be like, oh yeah, this is the best game ever. It was interesting. I can see a lot of depth and card play there, to the point where I'm interested enough to pick up a booster pack box, build a deck, and play with it a couple times.
Okay.
Like, I don't know like if this is going to be a lifestyle game for me. I'm not expecting that at this point, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was really well and cleverly done.
Right. I can see the appeal. There's lots of aspects that are really neat about this game, and I liked those.
Yeah.
The fact that it is a 1v1 head-on-head game, and there's as much luck as I saw in the game, I didn't enjoy that at all.
Right.
And so I'm kind of meh on it. I wouldn't go out and buy a copy of this game to get into it. As is, and maybe seeing some of the expansion material and stuff like that, I might go, okay, I can see what's happening now, and maybe I would get into it. The Star Wars theme does nothing for me as well, so there's nothing there.
This could have been this could have been My Little Pony.
Oh yeah,
and it would have been equally as appealing to theme wise.
Yes, 100%.
All right, well that's Star Wars Destiny. Don't forget to go ahead and like and subscribe. We always appreciate when you do that.
We sure do. You can also follow us on Twitter at MeepleLeaf, and in the description down below, you can go to our website and download our 3-hour podcasts.
All right, see you guys next time.
Take care.